you? My name is Shannon Gilmore. Welcome to Positively Spiritual. This is the place to be, whether you're looking for answers, looking for comfort, looking for guidance, or looking just for a friendly guidance and a hand to hold. Maybe you need a hug. Maybe you just need somebody to listen to. This is your place, as here at Positively Spiritual, we are here to unpack the problem areas of narcissistic personality disorder. We're here unpacking our trauma, trying to figure out how to alleviate ourselves of the trauma in a way that might be unconventional to some people, as we look into psychology, but we kind of turn psychology maybe a little bit sideways or upside down on its head, because we use also the Word of God in a non-denominational approach, set against maybe sometimes we use quantum science. So we do a little bit of everything here on this channel to help us understand the motives behind narcissism, so we can understand where we're going and what we're doing when it comes to healing and setting ourselves free of narcissistic injury. We're going home. That's the long and short of it. We are going home. Where's home? Certainly not here, even though the earth we can, this is our temporary place, our stepping stone. But our home is with God in heaven. And so we're working it out. So welcome. If you guys find comfort and healing here, please get comfortable, because these lives, we're here twice a day. One in the afternoon and the second time at 10 o'clock in the evening. And we're here for about maybe 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes even 3 or 5 hours. Yeah, depending on what we want to talk about and depending on, the chat. We're here for the chat group too, so you guys are welcome to share your comments, questions, and suggestions. As we give the chat room, we give you guys the floor, and we try to answer your questions as best as we can. So with that said, thank you, welcome. My name is Shannon Gilmore, and who am I? I'm a peer support counselor, or peer support crisis mentor, you might want to call it. I'm not a therapist. I cannot diagnose. I will not diagnose, and I do not give out prescriptions. Okay, that's not me. I've just had personal training from psychologists or school counselors to better communicate with each other. I have this training that helps me to better communicate with you who are hurting, and I offer guidelines, suggestions. You don't have to take my advice. You don't have to take the guidelines or suggestions. You work at your own pace and your own healing. I just share with you what has worked for me and what has worked with others, and if it resonates with you, that's great. If not, that's fine too. We're all here to get along. We're all here to serve each other, as we are here to serve Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Hi VK, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hi Luke, nice to see you. What got you interested in talking on that function, or taking on that function? How you doing? Nice to see you, Luke. Bonjour, comment ça va? Well, for me, I'm a survivor of narcissism. I'm a survivor of childhood trauma. I'm a survivor of a marriage that went bad. So welcome to the club. That's why we're here. And we're not experts by any means, but we're experiencers, and our experience dictates the rule of law, the rule of thumb, if you want to call it that. Our experience says everything. And I'm not here to say my experience is better than yours. No way. I'm just here sharing with you what I've got, what I'm willing to bring to the table. I'm willing to be an open book so that you guys can feel comfortable that it's okay. It is okay to share. It is okay to feel raw. It is okay to feel hurt and undermined and sidelined. And it's okay to feel everything that you're feeling. And it's okay to feel confused. but it's not okay to keep yourself silent. So that's why I share. This channel exists here for you. Hello, Thrive Life Care. Nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Tonight, I want to talk about Milgram's experiment. Have you ever heard of it? What does Milgram's experiment have to do with narcissism? Well, this is a pretty insidious experiment conducted in the 1960s. Conducted by a psychologist. Okay, we're not going to get down on psychologists or psychology, but this experiment is just really telling. So the Milgram experiment, conducted by psychologist Stanley Milgram in the 1960s, tested the limits of human ethics by examining how far individuals would go in obeying an authority figure, even when instructed to harm other persons. I didn't hear of it before either. I just was Googling behavioral psychology because I'm starting to get into this. This is just kind of a curiosity of mine because I watch The Irrational. You guys know that movie or that TV series? I watched a few episodes and I love the science, the psychology behind the science. And so I'm writing down with my notes, you know, like we did the last couple of days on, you know, was it cognitive bias? And, you know, it's just something that interests me. And so I was just Googling, you know, what behavioral psychology has to do with narcissism. And I found something that was like, oh, hello. So, yeah, I think this is important. This is just, it piqued my interest, and I hope that it helps shed some light on what's going on with narcissism. Because narcissism is not a new thing. It's a behavioral trait that's been in existence since day one. So, may I introduce you guys to our moderator on this channel? Her name is VK. She's a lovely person, and she is here to help answer questions or suggestions. And if you guys need my, you know, my help or whatever, she will get my attention if you guys don't, because sometimes I just, you know, I'm just talking, so I miss a lot going on in the chat. But if you do need to talk to me, just say @Shannon or hey Shannon, hi Shannon. Just use my name in your chat, and you know, I usually see it. So exactly, VK, say @Shannon. Thank you. Yeah, VK has been our moderator for a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and she's been doing an upstanding job. She's awesome. I'm so thankful for you, VK. Thank you so much. I mean that. Thank you so much. Okay, so the Milgram experiment. Okay, conducted by Stanley Milgram, and I encourage you guys to do your own research. This here is just a baseline, okay? I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. I'm just skimming the top of this, and it's disturbing. Like, I found it disturbing. Okay, so this guy wanted to test the limits of human ethics by examining how far individuals would go in obeying an authority figure. Already there's problems with that, isn't there? Even when instructed to harm another person. What? You got to be kidding, right? No, this really happened. This groundbreaking study revealed that ordinary, well-educated people would and could blindly follow authority, even at the cost of another's well-being. And we're seeing that in this society today. So are we not surprised? Well, yeah, I'm kind of surprised, since back in the day it was Beaver Cleaver, right? It was Happy Days and Leave It to Beaver and Lucille Ball, and we got this stuff going on. Electric shock. Yeah, VK knows it. In Milgram's experiment, participants were instructed to administer electric shocks to a person referred to as the learner. Now, these participants didn't know that the learner was in on this experiment. Unbeknownst to the participants, the learner was actually an actor or actors. And they knew very well what was going on in this experiment because the shocks weren't real, or as they say they weren't. But the participants, the people who administered these shocks, thought they were real. That's freaking abusive. That's sick and twisted. Each time the learner answered a question incorrectly, the participants were told to increase the voltage. You know? Can you just imagine somebody getting zapped or pretending to get zapped, and you make it real? Like these actors, they probably, watched people getting shocked and like, seriously, what kind of demented person has to do something? Sorry, this really freaking chars my ethics to the roof. Like, I don't like this. I'd have something to say to this psychologist. Anyways, moving on. I gotta calm down. I'm okay, really. So, with this, okay, let me back up. So, just think about this. You've got people who were in on this deal and they were pretending to be shocked, while the people who administered this shock thought that they were really administering some shock, some electricity to this person. Like, that's freaking traumatizing in itself. Now, 65% of the participants continued all the way to the highest voltage, 450 volts, despite hearing the learner's cries of pain. Like I told you guys, I bought my dog, my beagle, who liked to bark and howl. Bought it a shocking collar because I thought, at the pet store they say it's humane, it's fine, it's good. It doesn't teach the dog to bark less. It's when they get zapped they bark more. And I used that one time, and that poor dog was because he's barking because he's getting zapped. And I'm running around the house trying to catch him, trying to get this dog collar off. This thing was like over $100. I ended up throwing it out. I was just like, no, that was inhumane, and I will never recommend something like that ever again. I will I was just so beside myself. I was just like, oh my gosh. So just go and look. It's funny, but it's not funny. People who have put a dog collar on themselves just to test the voltage, and you Google it on YouTube, and people put it around their necks, and they're like, it freaking hurts. It's not funny. It's, the reaction is funny, yeah, because they're stupid for doing that. But on a humane level, like, no, this is not funny. And it's painful. It's freaking painful. So these people who are administering this shock, and this pain, this alleged pain is escalating, how can you be comfortable? How can people be comfortable with that? That's what I'd like to know. And I'm trying to lay down my judgments here, but I would like to know how people are comfortable administering pain because they're told to. Now, these participants, they expressed discomfort, yet they still obeyed. And why? Because the authority figure insisted that they had no choice. So now you can understand why people took the jibby jab at the threat of losing their jobs. Hi, Joe. Hi, Ted. How are you guys doing? That's inhumane. All I have to do is get her attention and point my finger at her. Your dog, Fancy. Exactly, Joe. So, Shannon, quick take on Stanley Milgram. Yep. Stuff you learn on the internet, right? Wow. This is from The Sociopath Next Door by Dr. Martha Stout. Oh, really? Okay, well, that's not where I got it from, but good to know, Ted. Thank you very much. So, this extremely disturbing experiment proved that people will follow harmful orders when an authority figure pressures them, even if it goes against their morals. The Milgram's experiment can shed some light on narcissistic personality disorder because narcissists exploit the same obedience mechanism that is seen in the Milgram's experiment. Narcissists use authority, confidence, and manipulation, to control others, leaving their victims to believe that they have no choice. Recite to yourself what Stanley Milgram taught us about obedience. At least 6 out of 10 people will blindly obey to the bitter end an official-looking authority in their midst. Yep. Thank you for that, Ted. I'm glad to see we're on the same page. Wow. I just stumbled into this tonight. Like, I just stumbled onto this. Like, I had no freaking clue. No freaking clue. So, in Milgram's experiment, the authority figures presented themselves as being superior, and narcissists present themselves in the same way, as all-knowing, powerful, and above reproach. They create a power imbalance where their targets of abuse feel that they must obey or suffer the consequences. You know this, you've been there. Although the consequences is not through receiving an electrical shock, mind you, the pain is felt the same, through the threat and terror of abandonment, rejection, humiliation, and punishment. And that's a shock to our souls. This isn't right. This is insidious. How the narcissist gets what they want by using intimidation, guilt, and gaslighting to make others comply with the narcissist's demands, and us, the victim. The victims of abuse, well, we will even put the narcissist's needs above our own standards of morals. I did it. I pushed God aside to please the narcissist. I'm not happy about it, but I did it. Now, but see, once you see, the thing is, narcissists prey on us because we have weak boundaries or weak morals. I mean, we're convicted in the morals that we can see and the morals that we know when it comes to other people. But when it comes to us, we're not loving towards ourselves, so we don't really have morals that stick towards ourselves. We have some lines that we have drawn in the sand that we will not do, we will not participate in, but there's, we'll let some things go. But once we know, we freaking know. We won't let other people be hurt. That's the line drawn in the sand. When it comes to moral ethics, we have high freaking standards when it comes to other people. We don't like to see other people suffer. We don't like to see other people make other people victims. We will not stand for that. But when it comes to ourselves, we can't see that. It's difficult. So this is from Dr. Martha Stout's book, The Sociopath Next Door, from Ted's quote, okay? So Ted says, I learned about Stanley Milgram 3 years ago from Dr. Martha Stout's book. Thank you very much for that. So an example of how the narcissist might work is maybe a narcissistic parent, says, if you really loved me, kiddo, you would do what I say. And this works because the child sees them as the absolute authority. Parents are like our gods. And the narcissistic adult will say the same thing to their target. If you really loved me, you would do what I asked without hesitation. In Milgram's study, the participants were given mild shocks at the beginning, which gradually increased in voltage. Again, this mirrors the narcissist's escalated abuse. The toxic person, the narcissist, starts with subtle manipulations such as love bombing, guilt tripping, and having, these things rooted down. They have these things rooted down first in the relationship before moving on and gaining full and complete control, or control over us through gaslighting and devaluation and engaging in the push and pull dynamics of that trauma bond. No one can see that they are manipulators, and no one can see that we are being manipulated until the abuse escalates too far. And by that time, it's usually a little bit too difficult to get the heck out of that relationship. And it's too difficult to rescue ourselves from further abuse. We're in it. And when we see it, it's difficult because we're so vulnerable and we're abandoned and we're left, maybe financially bankrupt. Maybe we're dependent on the narcissist. So, okay, so Ted says, if necessary, redefine your concept of respect. Too often we mistake fear for respect. That's right. And the more fearful we are of someone, the more we view him or her as deserving of our respect. Yeah. Well said, Joe. Or Ted, excuse me. Joe says, mine told me that I wouldn't be such a mess if I listened to her. Oh, wow. That's pretty controlling. And that's pretty telling, too. Ted says, do not join the game. Intrigue is a sociopath's tool. Yeah. I agree with that, Ted. Oof. So here's another example of how the narcissist will usurp their authority. A narcissist may start testing small boundaries. They do at the very beginning, but we can't see it because the love bombing overshadows that. Now, the narcissist, they might like making rude jokes, and the rude jokes are an attempt to make us feel helpless and hopeless. When the narcissist sees that their jokes have worked, this is when they escalate to maybe moving up to more controlling behaviors, such as controlling finances, emotions, and the relationship. They look at the joke as the reality. If we let it go, then therefore our silence must be an admission of guilt. That, they're making us the brunt of their jokes, so they assume that we're stupid and dumb. So our silence of letting that joke go and not saying anything and demanding respect, that to them, our silence is admission of their right. So then they take that as a means to, you know what, I'm just going to control the family's finances. We're going to have a joint bank account so I can control how much money you're spending and how much, money comes and goes into the family. You don't deserve to have your own bank account. You can't balance a bank book, dear. This is psychological entrapment. And just like Milgram's participants, they too felt trapped and unable to quit. Victims of narcissistic abuse feel emotionally and psychologically trapped, unable to quit the relationship and abandon the narcissist. What happens instead is we abandon ourselves. The longer they stay, the longer we stay, the longer victims stay, the harder it is to resist the narcissist's influence. Yes, Ted, I agree with that, because when you're not protecting yourself, you're leaving yourself vulnerable and open. It's look over here, not here tactic. So if the narcissist has you focused over here, reducing yourself to the sociopath's level, you're not looking over here where they're working, and you're vulnerable. and you need to protect yourself. You need to have eyes in the back of your head, and you need to not turn your back on the narcissist. Like literally, do not turn your back. Do not. Primal fear. Okay, you watched the film. Ted says, I recommend that you watch the film Primal Fear. That was a good movie. And Orphan. These people are deadly chameleons. Orphan, I'm not sure what that one... I'm not sure if I've seen that one. I've watched a movie. If this is the same one I'm thinking about, it made me freaking cry. Is this the movie where the little girl was abandoned by her mother, as her mother put the boyfriend first and abandoned, like literally left the house for good and left the girl there alone on her own? Is that the movie I'm thinking of for Orphan? That freaking teared at my heartstrings. I was so freaking mad at that actress, the mother who played the mother. I was just so, it triggered me. So these movies are triggering, just as a trigger warning, people. So just like in ancient Rome, they distract you with bread and circuses and conjure magic. Yeah, and you know, the Romans were very diabolical. You want to know how an emperor was made? Through freaking trauma. See, King David, he was a king of Israel, but he was created out of love. He honored God. He followed God through honoring God with the Torah, the law of Moses, right? Well, the Romans, they had their own law, and it was through torture. They tortured kids. That's how they made the kids grow up into narcissistic men, and those narcissistic men became emperors. And they were sadistic. They were Machiavellian. They were psychopathic, sociopathic. They were evil incarnate. Yeah, some of the, like, you guys, Caligula was no joke. Although they romanticized his antics in movies, what he did, he was an antichrist. He was evil. Disgusting people. Disgusting. Emperors were disgusting people. Anyways, I got to get back to this. Don't even get me started. So, why did people stay? Why do we stay? You know, that's a question that most often people who don't understand narcissistic abuse, they say, why do you stay? Why don't you leave? You know, I don't know why they stayed so long. Like, they could have helped themselves, and they could have saved themselves years of torment. I don't know. It's like we are the topic of discussion at people's tea times. Who gave them the right to sit there and gossip about us? Well, do you know Shirley? You know, she's been with her husband for 5 years now, and she keeps going back to him. And, you know, I've seen 3 times this week. The police keep coming over. Do you guys, what's going on? Is he beating her up, or is she throwing things around the house? Like, who's to blame here? It's like, I'm sorry, but we're not, you know, let's answer our own questions, why we stay, why we don't leave, so that other people can hear it from us. You know, these people who want to judge us, they have no freaking clue. Well, you know, I don't know why she puts up with him. If he did that, I would leave. Well, okay, that's you. Yeah, let's let you walk a mile in my shoes, sweetheart, and see how far you get. You'll be phoning me up and asking for advice like within a freaking hot minute. So, why do we stay? Let's answer that right now. It's fear of consequences. It's trauma bonding. It's the fear of abandonment, fear of retaliation. When you're freaking threatened emotionally or physically, yeah. You try leaving when you've got kids with this person. You try leaving when your investments are tied up into this person because you guys own a house together, and he, you know, or she has you so financially destitute and financially dependent on that person, where, they've triangulated your friends and family away from you, so you've got no friends and no family. So you just try to make the best of it. And you end up gaslighting yourselves in order to make your life at least frickin' bearable. Yeah, so don't ask us why we stay. We know why we stay, and we don't owe anybody any frickin' answers. And we stay because, well, we think we're in love. And we think that if, the narcissist just sees how much we really love them, they'll change. Because we have hope. Because in that kind of relationship, all we have to hang on to is that kind of hope. That's what keeps us frickin' sane. Hello, Desert. How you doing? Nice to see you. We are talking about Milgram's experiment. This was a psychologist who performed an experiment on people in the 1960s, and he showed how people who think that they are subordinate and they have no choice to do decisions based on what they're told, they will do them, even at the cost of other people's safety and health. So, Milgram's study, the participants, the people who gave out these electric shocks, when interviewed, they said, well, you know what, I was just following orders. So they justified their actions, even though they saw the people, the actors, pretend to be shocked. And I don't think these actors, I think if I would have seen it, if you would have seen it, yeah, it would have been believable. So these people, see, that's the thing. When you start harming people on a regular basis, you become desensitized to their pain, their harm. You become desensitized to empathy. It's why you don't want to work in a slaughterhouse. Seriously. People who work in slaughterhouses and kill animals for a living, there is a high propensity, and it's like over 70%. These people who kill animals for a living in slaughterhouses, and I'm talking about the slaughterhouses that are inhumane, these people who work the slaughterhouses come home and are violent to their kids and their wives and their husbands, their families. They're abusive because they become desensitized to the abuse that they see going on in the slaughterhouses and the abuses that they commit against animals. And that's what this Milgram study is showing, that participants justified their actions by saying, I was just following orders. Well, narcissists use the same tactic to shift blame. They say things like, well, I wouldn't have yelled if you didn't make me mad. Or, I cheated because you weren't giving me enough attention, sweetheart. They manipulate others into enabling their behavior. Flying monkeys. Enablers, our friends, our family. And they do this in a way that makes them feel like they are, the command drill sergeant. They are top, they are gods, they are elitists, they are above reproach. And the people who follow the narcissist, well, they say, well, I was just following orders. They manipulate others into enabling their behavior. So flying monkeys, if they see what works, if they see the control, if they see the bad behavior, they may even mimic it, thinking that, oh, well, that's a pretty powerful tactic. Throw a temper tantrum to get people to back down. That's control right there. I think I'm going to hang along with this narcissist person here. You know, they can take me places. They can shoot me up the corporate ladder. Just remember, you have the right to say no. Exactly. Hi, Andrea. How you doing? I'm glad I'm a vegetarian. Me too. I came into live stream mentioning slaughterhouses. Wow, welcome. Hi. Yeah, I've been a vegan since 2011 and I'm not going back because of the slaughterhouses, what I've seen. If you guys are interested, watch Earthling. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to talk about slaughterhouses unless you guys want to talk about it. But it's very personal. You guys want to eat meat? I'm not going to judge you because I used to eat meat. So I'm not going to judge. I'll let God convict you if that's his will for your life. You know what? You do what you got to do. There's no judgment here, okay? But there is a problem with our meat products, as even our animals are objectified, and that's got to stop. And it stops with us. Knowledge is power. Yeah. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Got to love animals. Animals are peoples too. Hi, Apollo Star. How you doing? So, here's an example of how people just follow the narcissist. Love's back to you guys. A narcissist cult leader convinces followers that disobeying them means disobeying God or the universe. Really? I know somebody, well, I don't know them personally, but I've heard somebody in the public eye say this, and she's a woman pastor. Joyce. She has had so much plastic surgery to hide her demons that she looks like Joker face. She has said some diabolical things about Jesus Christ, and she said, if you don't believe me, you're going to hell. It's been said on record. You can Google it. When interviewed after the study, Milgram's participants felt internal conflict, but continued obeying because the authority figure reassured them. Sounds like our government during COVID, right? Oh, I got to be careful. YouTube, allegedly. Okay, YouTube, I don't want this video is really important tonight, so I don't want them to take it down, so I'll say allegedly. But here in Canada, allegedly, my government allegedly gave money to businesses to stay open during COVID, but only allegedly allow patrons who had the jibby jab. People who didn't have the COVID shot allegedly were not allowed to enter into restaurants and enter into, places of business. And, we just have to look at the government and the brainwashing and the lies that they spread. And it's like, well, government told me to, so I should do it. The government told me to. Alleged. YouTube, allegedly, okay? I'm saying allegedly. This video is for entertainment purposes only, okay? My opinions are my opinions. YouTube. This is not hate, okay? This is not spreading around lies and hate. This is just, we're allowed to share our opinions, YouTube, so that's what we're doing on this channel. So, Joe says, if I'm going to become a vegetarian, I'm going to have to get my teeth out of storage. You know what? You can have shakes. I love having shakes. I have, protein shakes. They're so good. So, I like veggies though. Veggies right out of the garden, they're the best. Yeah, there are some crazy rules during parts of COVID. Yep. Psy world or sick world. Hi. Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. Who are we talking about? I don't know. We're past talking about whatever we were talking about when you said that, Ted. We're moving right along. We're just moving right along. All right, so we're talking about back to Milgram, okay? Milgram's participants, they said that they felt internal conflict, but continued to obey because the authority figure reassured them, it's okay, nobody's getting hurt, it's all right, it's okay, it's just for a little while longer. Really? So here's the similarity between narcissists. Because narcissists gaslight their victims into ignoring their instincts, our instincts. The narcissist gaslights us into leaving and abandoning our status quo, what we believe, our ethics, our morals, our self-integrity, so that we stay in the abusive relationship against our better judgment, as our free will is manipulated against us. How nice, right? Not. Victims experience cognitive dissonance, a mental battle between what they know is wrong and what they are told to believe. This in itself is a form of brainwashing, and it takes time to heal from. Patterns of behavior form as we are led to gaslight ourselves, to trust the authority figure, because the outcome of us not following the authority figure is far worse. We are forced into situations that force us to pick our own poison and drink it, hoping for a chance of survival. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Well, I think sick world, your name says it all, right? I know nothing about gang stalking, so see ya. Okay, let's do this. You've been reported. How's that? Just a second, guys. Just a second. Okay. Okay. So, bye-bye, sick world. Sorry that you guys had to read those. I don't know, just whatever. Not worth our time. They're just a distraction. Anyways. So, have you ever had a narcissistic partner say to you, oh, you're overreacting. If you really loved me, you wouldn't doubt me. I've got your best interests at heart over everybody else. Can't you see that I love you? Can't you see that all I've done for you is because I love you? Well, yeah, that creates self-doubt, making it harder to resist their control. So, here's how we can break free from the narcissist's Milgram experiment. Understanding the Milgram experiment can help us to see how narcissists manipulate obedience and why breaking free feels so difficult. To escape, we must recognize the authority of the illusion, or in the illusion. Just because a narcissist acts like a powerful figure doesn't mean that they are one. You got to break the trauma bond. Narcissists condition us over time. So breaking free requires rewiring the mind. And if we were conditioned over a period of time, it's going to take that length of time at least to undo this conditioning. So healing's not going to come overnight. You got to reclaim your autonomy. You need to trust your own instincts again, rather than obey, out of fear. So we talked about seeking peace this afternoon. What does that feel like? What's the requirement? You got to start getting involved with yourself again, doing things for you, taking time out to just breathe and have some space, some quiet time for yourself. The Milgram experiment and narcissistic personality disorder both highlight how easy how people can be manipulated into harmful behaviors when under authority and pressure. Narcissists use fear, obligation, and guilt to keep people compliant, just like Milgram's experiment did. But once victims recognize these tactics, they can break free and regain control over their own lives. So, you want to know how to deprogram yourself from narcissistic conditioning to rewire your mind for freedom? Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. Narcissistic conditioning is a gradual process of psychological manipulation that traps victims in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and emotional dependency. Narcissists use tactics like gaslighting, love bombing, devaluation, and guilt tripping to reshape how their victims think, react, and perceive themselves. Breaking free isn't just about leaving the narcissist. It's about undoing the mental programming that keeps you stuck in life. I can't imagine what the participants in the Milgram experiments must have felt after all that was said and done. I mean, I know they must have blamed themselves. And the guilt they must have had. I mean, when we are left out of the narcissistic relationship, we often feel the same. Like, we feel remorse and sadness and shame and I could have done better and gee, like I should have done this when I did this. I could have done that when I should have done that. And I mean, these people were victimized. They, even though these participants are guilty because they didn't stand up for what was right, they were still victimized. They were put in a situation that was deceptive. So they didn't make informed decisions. I have a good therapist, but it's going to take forever to heal myself. Welcome to the club. It's going to take forever and ever, amen. And it's going to take the rest of our lives. Because you know what? We never stop growing. We always keep learning. I have very guarded trust. Well, you know what? That's improvement, Ted. From when we first met here on this live, what were you saying? You don't trust anybody. You can't trust, even a few weeks ago you were saying you can't trust anybody. So, well done. I'm proud of you. For you to say I have very guarded trust, that's responsible, that's healthy, that's intuitive, that's self-aware. You're growing. Well done. That's awesome. Good for you. Excellent. Impressive. Yeah. So here's how you can deprogram and reclaim your true self. Recognize the conditioning. Awareness is the first step. You can't break free from something you don't recognize. Narcissist conditioning often includes doubt, as you doubt your own judgment. Am I overreacting? Oh, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Surely they didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just heard them wrong. Did I see that? No, I didn't see that. No, they wouldn't have done that. No. And then there's the guilt for setting boundaries. I should be more forgiving. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I didn't give them enough leeway. Maybe I'm just being too hard on them. Ooh. And then there's the fear of disappointing them. If I don't do what they want, they're going to be upset. No, you know what? I won't pick up my prescription today. I'll leave it till tomorrow. Maybe I'll make time tomorrow because I got to get home and make dinner. Because if I'm late on that dinner, they're going to freaking strip me a new one. Then there's feeling responsible for their emotions. Oh, if they're mad, I must have done something wrong. It's me. Why did I say that? Now I got them all upset. Oh, you know, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have done that. You know, I shouldn't have done that. Now they're gonna hate me for life. Now they're gonna be mad at me for a week. Now I disappointed them. A narcissist has our emotions all twisted up sideways, turned in knots. So here's a tip. Start writing down specific situations where you felt manipulated. Seeing the patterns on paper helps your brain, seriously. It helps your brain detach from the illusion that they have created with you in the relationship. So here's to reclaiming your inner voice. And this is how you trust yourself. See, narcissists train you to question your own reality. They invalidate your feelings and replace them with their version of events. To deprogram, you've got to validate your own experiences. What I felt was real. My emotions are valid. And you trust your gut instincts. If something feels off, it is. It's not maybe, might be. No, it is. The illusion is an introject. Yeah. Apollo Star says the worst is the reactive abuse I felt. Aw, honey, I've experienced every single one of these symptoms. Yeah. Oh, hun, I'm sorry. You know, the best that you can do is, figure out why you're triggering, like what emotions are they triggering in you. Try to see that and deal with it on your own without their help. And go gray rock when they start pushing your buttons, and deal with your anger or your sadness or whatever it is, your fear, your whatever feeling you have. Go deal with it outside of them. Go find somewhere private, go for a walk, go drive, go to your car, and go scream in a pillow if you have to. But do it when they're not around, so they can't come back on you and use that against you. You heal on your own time in your own space, because that's the only way you're going to feel safe, is when you heal without them around. So don't show any emotion when you're with them. Going no contact starts by going no contact, by do not engage your emotions with them. And that's what makes going no contact with them easier when all is said and done. When you start disengaging your emotions, that's when you start the going no contact process. So I think we need to take on the mindset of telling them to go pound sand. I love that. Yeah, I like that. Joe, I love that. That's surprising. That's courage right there. Wow, I like it. So Yes, did this nonstop when my mom did discard. Aw. So I had to. I was pregnant and I couldn't even, reason with the amount of sheer attacks. Oh my gosh. 5 years is the grief of loss of mom and my son's grandma. Yeah. I gray rock all day now. Oh, hun. Hugs to you, girl. That's tough. That's tough. But are you taking time out for you? So, here's another thing. Challenge those implanted beliefs. You know, those implanted beliefs the narcissist projects onto you? You gotta do the journal work, do the mirror work, and ask yourself, do I really believe this? Or was I taught to believe this? A breakthrough tip for this is practice saying, I trust myself. Even when you don't feel like you do, say, I trust myself. Write it down daily until your brain rewires itself to believe it. Break those trauma bonds. Detach from that emotional hook. A trauma bond is an addiction to the cycle of abuse and reward that keeps you emotionally tied to the narcissist. Breaking this bond requires recognizing the abuse-reward cycle, the love bombing, the devaluation, the silent treatment, and it's set on rinse and repeat. Yep. Detoxing from emotional highs and lows. Your brain is addicted to the roller coaster. Cortisol, dopamine, and whatever. What did we say? No, I can't even remember. The lovey-dovey hormone, the bonding hormone. Excuse me. So you got to detox from the emotional highs and lows because your brain is addicted to that roller coaster, addicted to those chemical hormones that is released on those highs and those lows. You have to get good at no longer seeking validation from them because their approval is a trap. There is a really good book called In the Grip of Fear. You probably can find it on Amazon. It was written maybe 10, 12 years ago. It was by an ex-detective. And he just writes scenario after scenario, case after case, after case, after case, after case of people, dangerous people. Narcissists are dangerous. And when you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And, I've had narcissists, ex-boyfriends, ex-friends follow me on here and comment. I don't comment back because in this book, In the Grip of Fear, that's the number one thing that this detective tells you is that when you are dealing with a toxic person, they will do everything. It's like a child who says, Mom, Mommy, Mom, Mama, Mom, 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 50,000 times. I know that's an exaggeration, but it feels like it. Even if they say Mom 50 times, they will say it 51 times because on the 52nd time, maybe you're just so fed up and you're like, what? What is it you want? Can I have a cookie? Go have that cookie. Get out of my hair and leave me alone. They don't care that you're mad at them. You gave them attention. The narcissist doesn't care about your feelings. The fact that you acknowledge them says that they own you. So if you answer voicemails, if you answer that text, if you answer that social media request, if you answer that little thumbs up or likes on Facebook or some sort of chat group, you're playing into their wants. So you've got to detoxify yourself from the narcissist and no longer seek validation from them, because your validation of them is a trap. Like, seriously, when you interact with them, you're interacting with the narcissist to communicate, to share ideas, to build a better, I don't know, tomorrow, a better situation with them, to grow and learn from the other person, right? Not the narcissist. What they're doing is getting attention from you. And they don't care if you keep talking. They'll ask you questions to get you to keep talking. Because they're asking questions, they want to know something about you so they can hold it over your head later on. But they want you to keep talking because it's like, oh, they're giving me attention. They're feeding my ego. They're making me feel good. And I don't have to feel bad about myself. You're their escape, emotional escape, nothing more. So don't think that this relationship is equal. It's not, because their approval of you, their engagement with you is a freaking trap. So when you miss them, remind yourself you're missing the illusion of what you thought was but never was. You're not missing the reality. Because the reality is, if you knew the reality with them from the get-go, you wouldn't be in a relationship with them. It's because of the illusion that you were in a relationship with them, and that tells you everything. Hey, Truth Teller, how you doing? Nice to see you. Oxytocin, thank you, Apollo. So, I notice she only sees herself and projects only her onto everything. Yep. And tonight she's trying to shame me to my son. He's 4. Oh my gosh. So she lives with you? Is there, yeah, I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm just going to ask, does she lives with you? Like, you guys are in a situation where you guys live with each other? Apollo? So, Truth Teller says, has she had therapy for her grief? Joe says, oh yeah, I'm off the ride for this time being, but I don't know when it might hit again. Yeah. Sounds like you've had enough, Joe. Yeah, we all get there. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You've had enough. Yeah, it's time for them to frickin' move. They can go pound sand. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. Okay, this Job chapter in my book of life showed that hateful people aren't necessarily hateful. They are hurting bad and they don't know what else to do. Then projections seep out like a self-gaslit mirror. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. But when you're dealing with people who are of the enemy seed, no, they mean everything that there's an inherent hate, because Jesus says they will hate you because of me. So there we go. Not every person who hates is savable. So recognize the abuse reward cycle, the love bombing, the devaluation, the silent treatment set on repeat. Okay? rewire your beliefs about love and worth. Narcissists distort your beliefs about what love really is and make you feel unworthy in healthy relationships. So that's why oftentimes we sabotage healthy relationships, because we don't think we're worthy, and we are looking, we're looking for the bad in the good. So know your worth isn't tied to their approval. You are valuable simply because you exist. You're self-evident. Reject the idea that love equals pain. Love does not hurt. Love is from everlasting to everlasting. If somebody cuts you off of their love, that's not love. Love is forever. Now, that doesn't mean it's obsessive. It just means that love is an energy that is from everlasting to everlasting because it's godly. Love doesn't hurt. Love does not have requirements. Love is not based on conditions. So if somebody is loving you conditionally, it's not love. It's not love. It's, I'm interested in you because you bring something to me, and once that runs out, I have no more use for you. Unconditional love doesn't run out. Unconditional love is, I like you for you, whether you're growing or you're stagnant or whatever it is. You do you, I do me, and somewhere we'll meet in the middle, and we'll get along. We'll support each other. We don't have to be at the same spot, but we do have to be evenly yoked in Jesus Christ, and we have to be working together. Maybe not together, but you have to work on your salvation separately. I have to work on my salvation separately, and somewhere in the middle we'll come together on that. And there's no judgment. You notice how we're better friends with our best friends than we are our spouses? Yep. We're more lenient with our best friends than we are our spouses. We're so judgmental towards our spouses or towards our boyfriend and girlfriend. Like the people that we're having intimate relationships with, we are so judgmental. And why is that? Because we're judgmenting. We're judgmental towards ourselves, and when you have that spiritual exchange, that person is reflecting that judgment that is in you, but you can't see it. They're reflecting it back to you, and you're hating it, so you're really hating yourself instead of hating them. Yeah. Makes sense. Understand that real love feels safe. It's not chaotic. Write down 5 truths about love that contradict what the narcissist taught you, and repeat them daily. Set and enforce boundaries without guilt. Narcissists train you to feel guilty for having needs. Deprogramming means unapologetically setting boundaries that protect your peace. Say no without explanation. No is a full sentence. Stop justifying your actions. You don't owe any reason. You don't owe the narcissist or anybody a reason why you said what you said or what you did. You don't need to owe anybody a reason for holding yourself to boundaries that protect you. And cut off access to your emotions. See, narcissists thrive on your emotional reactions, so don't give them any. If a narcissist wants to interact with you and they want to talk to you, just say, I'm sorry, I don't have an opinion on that. And they're like, what? I'm sorry, I don't have an opinion on that. What do you mean you don't have an opinion? I don't have an opinion on that. Or say, you know what, I haven't given it much thought. I can't give you an answer. I haven't given it thought. Well, why not? I just haven't given it a thought. Or, you know what, it's not important to me. I'm not going to talk about it. It's not important to me. And maybe it really is, but you have to weigh whether it's worth the emotional investment in talking to somebody who is not in your corner. They're not in a conversation to come together with the meeting of minds and learn and grow from you, and you and learn and grow from them. So really, even if this is an important topic to you, like politics or whatever it is, you know, whatever it may be, you know, with somebody else, you may get involved in the topic, but with the narcissist, it's not worth your time and it's not worth the emotional investment. So, you know what? Go against the grain and just say, you know what? I haven't given it much thought. But you're involved in politics. You love politics, Shannon. What's the matter? What's wrong with you? You know what? I've stepped away from politics for a while, and I don't have an opinion about that anymore right now. That'll shut down the narcissist, and they'll stop nagging at you and just leave you alone. They get you with induced conversation. That's right. Ted says you have to stop believing in their mask. Yeah. There's nothing truthful about them. But when you're in it, you want to believe that they are good and kind and caring individuals because they talk like a duck, they walk like a duck, and they act like a duck. So therefore they must be a duck. No, they're not. Just because they walk and talk and look like they're human, they're not human. But we have to find that out the hard way. My healing journey is going so positive right now. I've been working so hard on healing, and man, I feel good. Awesome. That's hooray. That's hurrah. That's thank you, Jesus. That's hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. That's awesome, Desert. That's good to hear. Ugh. Stay positive. That's awesome. God bless you. Awesome. So cut off access to your emotions. They thrive on emotional reactions. Don't give them any. If setting boundaries makes you feel guilty, remind yourself, my boundaries protect my peace. You're allowed to have boundaries, okay? There is no rule book in heaven or hell or on earth that says no boundaries. In fact, the rule book in heaven, the Bible says we're supposed to have boundaries. We're supposed to protect our family like we protect our soul. And so, yeah, you got to protect your soul. That's what healthy boundaries do. Reconnect with your true identity. What is your true identity? A lot of times we have that existential crisis, that identity crisis within narcissistic relationships. So you got to discover what you love, not what they love, not what anybody else loves, what you love to do, what makes you happy outside of them, the relationship. You got to heal your inner child. The part of you that was manipulated needs nurturing. So how you nurture that inner child is to let the inner child speak through creativity. Get out your Crayolas, get out your felts, get out your pencil crayons, get out the chalk. Yeah, just because you're an adult, you can still go and buy some chalk and draw hopscotch on the sidewalk and do some hopscotch. Maybe the neighbor's kids will get involved. But, you know, maybe set up we always used to do double dutch on our block growing up, you know, the 2 skipping ropes and play double dutch. You know, I do this every summer. I get out my skipping rope, and my daughter and I, she's 24, we have skipping contests out in the front yard on the sidewalk. And the neighbors' kids, guess what? They started getting out their skipping ropes too. It's pretty cool. But the thing is, it's okay to act childlike. That doesn't mean you're immature. And who cares what other people think? Because it's not our business to know what other people think. Seriously, it's not our business. So this is how you build up your self-confidence. You got to explore yourself. I mean, you got to know what you like and want to do. And if you can skip 50 rounds or 150 rounds, go for it. And go, how much can you skip rope in a minute? Or, you know what? If there's a ball field or if there's a park, Go swing. Go run across the ball field and sprint as fast as you can and pretend that you're Superman or Superwoman. Who's gonna know? Who is gonna freaking know? And who cares? Write a list of things that used to bring you joy before the narcissist and start doing them again. Have I ever been to or lived in the US? Yes, I've been to the US. Been to Boston, Massachusetts. Been to Tijuana, Mexico. Been to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Been to Anaheim, California. Been to San Francisco, and I've also been to Nevada. And I've driven through New York to get to Boston. So what about you, Ted? Have you come to Canada? Have you been to Canada? Beautiful country. The United States is so beautiful. So, does anyone know of any rescue SWAT teams in the USA? No. But that's something to look into. Newfoundland. Oh, you've been to the Bay of Fundy? That's where I want to see. I want to go to Princess Edward Island and the Bay of Fundy. Grandeur. Nice. Hey, VK, nice to see you. Welcome back. I was wondering where you were. I was checking my chat on Telegram to see if there was a message, but I hope you're doing okay. I was trying to keep in touch. I hope you're doing okay. No sorries, no worries. You got life to do, girl. You do your life. I'm glad you're okay. Good. No, if you have to go, you have to go. It's okay. I'm just glad you're here, and I'm just happy that you're willing to moderate when you can. So this isn't like a, well, this is a job. Okay, let's face it. Moderation is a job, but you know what? It's all good. You get to come and go as you please. It's fine. No worries. It's all good. All right. So after you start rebuilding your self-confidence through hobbies, passions, and new experiences, you write a list of things that used to bring you joy before the narcissist and just start doing those again. And then you practice emotional detachment. Narcissists feed off of your emotions, as you know, especially anger and sadness and guilt. And when you detach emotionally, they lose control. Don't react when they bait you, because that's what they're doing. With this reactive abuse, they're triggering you to get you to react. That's abusive behavior, and that's what they want. They want to see you come unglued. So don't react. Silence is your superpower. If you have to start thinking about something else, like, I wonder, like if they're trying to bait you, think of something. Think of something like, I wonder what I'm going to do tomorrow. Or you can say to them, oh yeah, I remember I've got that project to do. Will you please excuse me? I've got work to do. Or please excuse me, I've got to make a phone call. And just go do your thing. Leave the room. You don't have to stand there and take it. You don't have to stand there and take their button pushing. And you don't even need to say, please excuse me. You just freaking leave the room. When you feel you're being disrespected and you're not living with them, you're maybe visiting or whatever, just leave. I gotta go. Oh, where are you going? No, I think it's time for me to go. I gotta go. I just remembered I got something to do. I gotta go. Just leave. View them as predictable, not powerful. Ooh, that's a pretty cool one. Once you see the pattern of their abuse and their pattern of behavior, you're not impressed with it anymore, are you? No, it's predictable. And it's off-putting. It's yawn. See their words as noise. Want, want, want. You know, Charlie Brown, when those scenes are, when the Charlie Brown and all the Charlie Brown gang is sitting in the classroom and they're talking, and you hear the teacher, and the teacher is trying to teach, and you hear that wah, wah, wah sound. Just listen to it. Go watch a Charlie Brown, excerpt on YouTube with the teacher. Charlie Brown sitting in a classroom. You'll hear it. That's basically what the narcissist does. And so see their words as noise, not truth. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's real. And just because somebody is mad doesn't mean they're right. Use that as a mantra. Just because they're mad, that does not mean they're right. So here's your breakthrough tip. When they try to provoke you, tell yourself mentally, this is just their programming running on autopilot. I don't have to engage. This is their zoomies around, like they're the little kid being the airplane, and they're just flying on autopilot. You can move out of their way by not engaging. Because a parent doesn't engage their child when their child is trying to take control. I know my parents used to ignore us kids all the time. My sister would be like, Mom, 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 Mom. My mom's right there. My foster mom's right there in the same frickin' room, and my foster mother's ignoring her own daughter. Mom, 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 why aren't you answering? Mom! And eventually my sister would just go away. I'm not saying that my foster mother was right, but you know what? We can do that with the narcissist. They do it with us. Why not throw some stuff back at them? Oh, they don't like it when we follow their lead. And when you say that, what? I'm just following your lead. They get so upset. You try ghosting them and breadcrumbing them and giving them the stonewalling tactics for a while, and they don't, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can say that to them and they won't understand. But they don't like it when you play their games back to them. They're like, I don't like game playing. Well, I'm just following your lead. I'm just following you because you're doing this to me. So this is how you want a relationship to go. So I'm just following your lead. This is how you're showing me exactly how you want this relationship to go. So I'm just doing what you're doing. You want it casual? Okay, we'll be casual. You want to ghost and breadcrumb me? Then fine. That's what you want, so I'll do it too. Oh, I don't want, and then you can say, it's not for me to be clingy. I don't ever want to cling to you. I don't ever want to do that and make you feel smothered. So thank you for showing me how you want this relationship to go. You want us to talk casually and every few days? Okay, well, I'll follow your lead. I get it. I understand. No harm done. You want your space? Okay, I get it. Throw it back at them. Reverse psychology. Parents do it with kids all the time. Yeah, and it works. But with the narcissist, they might be saying, oh, you're playing games with me. No, I'm not. I'm just following your lead. And you stick with that. Stick with it. And they'll get frustrated, and they may change, but change doesn't last. And you just keep following their lead, keep following their suit, and they'll get tired and they'll leave. They'll get bored. They'll leave. Yeah, they're vampires, exactly. Manipulation, cruel, distorted, they are jealous. Yes. Yes, they're vampires. Yes, parasites. Oh, but would YouTube think of me as being mean for saying that? I don't care. We could say allegedly. Oh, I don't care at this point. So choose your freedom over familiarity. The old patterns do feel safe, but they're toxic. And, when something new comes along in your life, it's going to feel uncomfortable because it's not familiar. Maybe here's the thing. When you start dating again, when you've given yourself time to work on yourself and you feel ready to get back on the dating scene again, or even making new friends. It doesn't have to be necessarily for dating. It's just platonic. Maybe you want to make new friends. Those kind, good friends, they might feel unfamiliar, so they might make you feel uncomfortable. So just give yourself time. There's no rush to trust. Okay, don't rush to trust. Just give yourself time to figure out if they are trustworthy or if you can rely on them. If they're sincere and loving and kind, then you'll be able to work that out. But you're gonna watch for red flags, and 1 or 2 red flags, okay. But if it's a repeated pattern of red flags, that lets you know that you're dealing with the behavior here, not just a one-off. So you get to make your own choices and your own discernment. And it's better that you hold off on trusting, or just give a little bit of trust, that if they break that trust, you're not going to become unglued and going to be totally hurt and sidewinded because of it. But it's better to just, don't don't rush to trust, because if you do, that's when you're going to get hurt. So, after 6 months and you still haven't given your trust to that person because you're seeing some problems, and all of a sudden, whoopsie, they did a really big runner on the relationship where they've just broken, you won't be able to trust them. Well, then and you're not hurt. You've got some time invested, but you've learned along the way. So relationships are about growth. So, you're not wasting your time. With narcissists, you're wasting your time, but they give that time back through the healing, where you get to see yourself and you get to see where your behavior needs a little bit of, tweaking or tweaking. So take back your control of your mind. They don't own your thoughts, so don't let them tell you what to do. They don't own you. And, whenever that fear creeps in, you can just tell yourself, you know what, I'm choosing freedom. I'm choosing freedom over fear, and fear is their weapon, not mine. And I don't have to carry it anymore. I can let it go. And if I'm feeling fear, you know what? I'm going to send that fear right back to where it belongs, whoever it belongs. And you know what, God, you direct it. Direct that fear. If it needs to go to the abyss, you know what? Do with it what you want, but let it leave me, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And that's including the weapon of fear, because God says that he did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of sound mind in truth and love. So you are not who the narcissist made you into being, meaning you are not who they made you into. The narcissist wanted you to appear as being someone of their own making. They tried to remold you, and they wanted you weak, confused, and dependent, because that made you easier to control. But you were never weak. You were conditioned to believe you were. There's a difference. Oh, there's a huge difference in that. Deprogramming is not about becoming who you were before you met them. It's about becoming the strongest version of yourself, the one that they tried to erase. So what this new version is the old version of you with a new version of you that you have yet to meet. You didn't know this new version before the narcissist came along. So now you're stronger now. And you can give yourself permission to tell yourself you're not crazy, you're not unworthy, you are not powerless, but you are free. Now, I know it's getting on in this video, so before we close this video tonight, I would like to leave you with some powerful affirmations and exercises to help reinforce your deprogramming from narcissist conditioning. So please download this video, watch it again, rewind it, pause it, take notes, do whatever you need to do with this video. Take the good bits, leave the rest, whatever, but let this video help you on your journey of healing. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But these affirmations will help rewire your mind, break trauma bonds, and restore your inner strength. I want to reassure you that this is a list, and you pick and choose which ones are best for you. And stay committed to your own healing. It's important to set aside time each day to commit to yourself, to your own fulfillment and growth. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that is only because making you your own focus and top priority is unfamiliar to you. And so it feels wrong or selfish. It's never selfish to work on yourself, and it's never wrong to commit yourself to your own healing. This is what God requires of us, to lay down our sins through repentance. That in itself is already making you your focus. When you live the repentant lifestyle, you're putting yourself first. You're making yourself top priority. You're putting yourself first. You're, working on yourself. You're, to other people it may be selfish, but you know what? It's not selfish. Living a repentant lifestyle helps you to hone in on your integrity and your moral compass. So you might as well go all the way, getting in touch with those feelings and your thoughts to make change happen for you. So here's some affirmations to rewire your mind. Repeat these daily, morning and night, to replace the narcissist conditioning with your own truth. Trust and intuition is the theme. I trust my instincts. My inner voice is strong and clear. I no longer question my reality to appease others. I am capable of making my own decisions with confidence. Thank you very much. Self-worth and boundaries is a theme, and through these affirmations you can say, I am worthy of love and respect without conditions. My boundaries are valid, and I enforce them without guilt. Saying no is my right, and I owe no explanation, and saying no is a sentence. Emotional detachment and strength is also a theme in affirmations. I release the need for external validations. I validate myself as God also validates me. I control my emotions. They no longer have power over me. I'm stronger than my fears. I choose love over fear. My peace is worth more than the narcissist's approval. Breaking trauma bonds is a theme in affirmations. I miss the illusion, not the reality. Ooh, I miss the illusion, not the reality. I am free from their spell. Love should feel safe, not painful. Ooh. I redefine my love on my own terms. I am not responsible for their emotions. That's a truth. You are not responsible for anybody's emotions. You're not responsible for how people feel. Their anger and sadness are not mine to carry. Stepping into freedom is also rooted in affirmations. I am not who they made me. I am not my mother's son, and I'm not my father's daughter. I am not the narcissist toy. I'm not their object. I am not who they made me. I am who I choose to become as I am a child of God. And I reclaim my mind, my peace, and my life. Every day, I grow stronger, wiser, and more free. And you can even add scripture. He who the Son sets free is free indeed, right? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And how do you serve the Lord? God says he is spirit, and his worshipers must worship him in spirit and in truth. So exercises to reinforce your healing. Have a thought detox journal. Your goal here is to separate the narcissist voice from your true voice. So here's an exercise. Write down any self-critical or doubtful thoughts you may have thought throughout the day. Ask, is this my belief or is it implanted by them? Rewrite it in your truth. For example, I'm not too sensitive. Maybe the narcissist said you were. Well, I'm not too sensitive. My emotions are valid and guide me wisely. Ooh, that's pretty powerful. Here's some mirror exercises for your self-worth. The goal is to restore your self-confidence and identity. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes and say, I am enough. I am strong. I am worthy. Do this every morning and every night, especially when self-doubt creeps in. Even when you're crying, you're angry, go wash your face, and when you're standing in front of the mirror, tell yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. I am worthy of a good life. And these feelings are what I'm feeling, but they don't belong to me. I release the narcissist from any spiritual tie that I might be holding on to them. I don't know if I'm holding on to the narcissist, but if I am, if my spirit, if my inner being is holding on to the narcissist for whatever reason, I release them. Every day, little by little, I release them. I release the narcissist. I let them go. They no longer need to serve me. They no longer have a hold on me. I give them permission. I give their spirit permission to leave me alone. What about trying an emotional release letter? I've mentioned this a few times. Write yourself a letter from the perspective of you being a best friend to you, and speak to yourself as you would your best friend who is going through the same thing. Write a letter to the narcissist even, but don't send it. Just pour out everything. Get it all out. Your anger, your pain, your disappointments, your mistrust, and end it with, oh, I release you. You no longer have control over me. And burn it or shred it. This is a symbolic act of freedom. What I often suggest is making a paper boat out of the letter and sending the letter down a little creek or placing it in some water where it can, wander and find its own spot and sink to some unknown place in the bottom of the creek to disintegrate. Reconnect with your true self. Your goal is to rediscover who you were before the narcissist conditioning. So here's an exercise. List all the things that you loved before the narcissist came along. And choose one activity each week that reconnects you with the version of your old self. If you love to do painting, but you stopped because they dismissed it, well, go pick up that paintbrush again. If you loved music, but they mocked your taste, make a playful list. Make a playlist of songs that feel like you. You should be dancing, yeah. You know that song? You should be dancing, yeah. Oh, sorry. Did I don't know what they're saying when they do that noise, but yeah. You should be dancing, yeah. I don't know why that song just popped into my head. I have no idea. So, breaking the trauma bond. Make a reality list. Stop idealizing the narcissist and reinforce the truth of the relationship. Write a 2-column list. Left side, the good moments that you had with them. The right side, the harm they caused, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the lies. Read the right side. Every time nostalgia makes you second guess, you're leaving. The breakthrough insight in this is trauma bonds make you remember the highs, but this list will remind you of the big, full picture, the honest picture, because ruminating is not honest. Ruminating has you gaslight yourself and fixate on the lies of the relationship, of what it could have been, what it could have, should have been, whatever. It's making that 2-column list will help you stop the rumination. And here's a grounding technique for emotional detachment. This goal stops you from reacting emotionally to their manipulation. When you feel triggered by memories or thoughts about them, pause and use this grounding technique. 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. 1 thing you love about yourself. This shifts your brain out of emotional reactivity and into present awareness. So 5 things you can see in your immediate. 2 whiteboards. Picture painting that I did on the wall. My container of mud fossils. My fanny pack purse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 things I can touch. My tea. My computer. My table. My lamp. My cushion I should be sitting on. Oh! Enthusiastic tent. My helmet. I don't think Tent's here today. So this is a running joke between him and I, so. It's my tinfoil hat, my tinfoil helmet. So. I like it, you know what, VK, I don't like purses. I've never have. I've always carried a wallet as a teen and a young adult. And I have a fanny pack. Like it's not a fanny, it's a flat, its design is perfect. It sits flat on your hip so you can wear it. I wear it under my coat and I don't have to worry about it. It's awesome. It fits my phone. Well, maybe not my new one. Maybe it will. I'm not sure. I have to try it. But it fits my, all my cards, debit cards, all of that stuff, and money and change. It's perfect for me. I love it. I will never go without this ever again because I just cannot stand purses. Hey, Michael, what's up? How you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. So I've always loved fanny packs. Even like when running and exercising, that's why I like it, because you can just carry your stuff and not worry about it, right? So on to 3 things you can hear. I hear silence underneath the furnace. And I also hear the churning of my computer. 2 things I could smell. I'm not even going to tell you. Okay, I smell my perfume. I can smell my shampoo. And yeah, I smell my perfume. Yeah, so that's what I smell. And I was going to go, my deodorant, okay? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I did. I had a little whiff of it, you know, my deodorant. So I'm sorry. Just keeping it real. Too much information, I know. But anyway, so one thing you love about yourself. I'm honest. I'm real. And I like that about me. That I can be honest and real without being rude. You know, like yeah, I like that. So that's how it works, you know. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell. One thing you like about yourself is this will shift your brain out of the emotional reactivity and into present awareness. And this you do when you are triggered by memories or thoughts of them, when you ruminate, you know. So just take a pause and use this grounding technique to ground you in the present moment. All right. So the final reminder before we go, you guys are free. You're free. We are free to be you and me. We are free to be ourselves. Deprogramming from the narcissistic conditioning isn't about unlearning their control. It's about rediscovering who you were meant to be. You are not weak. You were conditioned to believe that you were. There's a huge difference. You were not broken. You were conditioned to believe that you were, that something was wrong with you. You are healing from the gaslight. You're healing from the false belief that you were broken and that something was wrong with you and that you were unworthy. You are not theirs to control. You are free. You always have been free. So that is the end of our video tonight as we looked into just, you know, kind of skimmed the surface on Milgram's experiment and how it had everything to do with narcissism. So I encourage you guys to do your own research on Stanley Milgram, who performed an experiment on people in the 1960s. And his experiment tested the limits of human ethics by examining how far individuals would go in obeying authority figures, even when instructed to harm other people. Pretty sick and twisted, eh? Yeah. So I want to say thank you all. It's 12 o'clock just about. Wow, we've been here for a couple of hours now, and I just want to say thank you, everyone. And again, thank you, VK, for moderating. It's okay if you had to duck and cover, if you had to leave for a little while. It's good to have you back, and you know, you're welcome anytime. You know, you've got life to live. We all do. So I mean, it's nice to see all of you guys here. It'd be wonderful if we could all meet together, you know, every day, twice a day. But you guys got lives to lead, or live, not leave. Live and lead. You guys have your lives, and I understand that. And it's just so glad that we get to see you when we can. And we're family. So I invite you guys, you know, say hi to me on our channel, on our Positively Spiritual channel. It's private, and you can talk about whatever you want. And yeah, sleep well. Aww. Aww. I hear you, VK. I hear you loud and clear. He's mad. Rob, sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. We love you, Rob. La 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 la. I'm gonna leave you guys with that song, okay? Just sing. That's when you go. Just sing a song. Okay. If that was said, I draw the line, Rob. I draw the line. Okay? We got to have respect. Well, yeah, I'm gonna call you, and if not, my chat might not be working, but I'm definitely got some things to say. So I will be talking to you very soon, VK. Yeah. All right. So, you guys, thank you for sharing your evening with me tonight. There's important links in the description of this video. You guys want to, you know, get in touch with me on Telegram and be a part of our growing private group on Telegram. Find me at SRNITYBLU at Telegram. Okay. My email is at shannongilmore@protonmail.com. And you guys want to support this channel through donations, there's 2 links, Stripe and PayPal. And there is also my Ko-fi or Coffee channel, which has all my services and downloadable ebooks for you guys to download. I am an author. I am a published author. I have 8 books in print. And I am a peer support mentor. I'm here to help you. So use these links. Take advantage of them, because they're here for you. So thank you for working on your healing and growth, and thank you for your friendship and your love. We are family, and thank you for your support, and thank you, VK, for your support, the phone and your earrings, and the money for my battery. I haven't started my car in a week, so you never know. But it's there if I need it, so thank you very much. I love you so much. I love all of you guys. Your support to this channel by subscribing, thumbs up, sharing it. You guys are really, you guys see the value of this because you see the value in yourselves. And I'm just so honored. And I'm going to stop talking because I could just sing your praises all night long. I love you guys. You guys, you're good peeps. Know that. I love you. See you tomorrow. Good night. Sweet dreams.